This is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're taking a look at what is the entry-level pricing to get on board the AM5 hype train. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we're taking a look at the costs involved in getting on board with the AM5 platform in June 2023. Now currently as it stands, things like RAM and also storage, pretty much all-time lows at the moment, and especially with DDR4 being cleared out. But the AM5 platform, as you're probably aware, uses DDR5 and DDR5 only. So there are going to be some cost increases on joining the AM5 platform. But is it worthwhile doing, and how much is it actually going to cost to get a relatively decent mid-range PC up and running in June 2023? Well, let's go over to the computer and we'll find out now. So this is our PC part picker list, as you can see, and we've gone through, got all the prices. So if you just want a quick spoiler and want to know how much it's going to cost for this system, at the bottom there we've got it there. So you're looking at just over £750 or almost £760. So if £760 is a little bit too rich for you, then clearly this isn't the video for you, and you might want to take a look at some of the AM4 bargains. We will be doing a follow-up video on this with a kind of approximation of this same system, but on the AM4 platform, to see if we can do it much cheaper. Realistically, it isn't going to be a huge amount cheaper. It's going to be around about £100 cheaper. So whether or not that £100 saving is going to be what turns you to either AM4 or AM5, but I'll try and give you as much information as I can. So starting off, we're going with the processor. Now the entry level, as it stands at the moment, June 2023, on the AM5 platform, is the Ryzen 5 7600. It's 3.8 GHz base clock, 6 cores, 12 threads. It does also have an integrated GPU, which is basically rubbish and is purely for basically just displaying a desktop. But if you want to save a few quid and you don't have enough money for the graphics card, you want to get up and running, potentially it will work. But for gaming purposes, it is absolutely horrendous. But for word processing and internet usage, that sort of thing, it's absolutely fine. So potentially you could save yourself the best part of £200 on this particular instance with going with the iGPU built in. Currently we're looking around about £215. So yeah, it's quite an outlay really for a 6-core 12-thread processor, especially when you consider this is roughly the same sort of price now, if not more, than things like the Ryzen 7 5800 and even the X3D version as well, which will be a little bit faster than this overall. So anyway, that is the processor. Optional for cooling, you do actually get a cooler included with that particular processor. So as an option there, we've got the ID cooling, the SE214XT, which we've reviewed before previously. This is a great cooler for around about £20. There are other alternatives from Thermalright if you wanted to go down that route, but this one is generally quite easily available, and the price is pretty much always the same. So that is definitely worth looking at if you do want to have a little bit of a quieter cooler. Although saying that, the stock AMD cooler is going to be okay, but yeah, can get a little bit noisy. Next up, we've got the choice of the motherboard. So when it comes to motherboards, pretty much all of them are expensive now, unless you want the very, very low trash tier boards, which in some instances are absolutely fine. But for this particular build, we want something which we can actually build on a little bit and potentially do some tweaking, maybe a little bit of overclocking, that sort of thing. So we've gone with the Asrock. This is the B650M, so this is micro ATX, although you can get full-size versions, but you do pay a premium. This at the moment you can pick up in the UK from around about £145, £150. Not a bad board, a little bit of addressable RGB going on. We've got some pretty decent VRM setup there. You've got 2 M.2 slots, so one at the top there and one down here, and I think there's actually a third one. Yep, there's a third one down the bottom, so potentially up to 3 drives. It's also a built-in M.2 Wi-Fi card as well, 4 RAM slots for expandability, and actually quite a pleasing aesthetic in my opinion. When it comes to the actual rear I/O, not a great deal to write home about. So we have got integrated Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Fast flashback is pretty much standard on all AM5 boards. You've also got HDMI output or DisplayPort if you're using the onboard graphics, and you've also got 8 USBs, 7 plus 1 USB Type-C, and some of those are going to be your faster ports. These ones here in the middle are USB 2.0. You've also got 2.5 gigabit LAN and a very basic audio output. Now the bone of contention is going to be RAM. What do you do at the moment? With the prices being as low as they are for DDR4, it does make this decision very hard. And also This RAM, I will say, is the cheapest, but it's potentially not the best. So we've got two 8GB sticks here, which is DDR5 4800 CL40. So not only does it not have a particularly high frequency, it's also got a relatively high latency. But having said that, it is about £20 cheaper than the DDR5 5600 version, which is only CL34. So basically, for £40 to get you up and running, I think this is actually a good deal up until the point that RAM comes down considerably, especially for the DDR5. If you want to spend the extra £20 and get slightly faster, then you can do. Obviously, if you want to go for 32 gigs straight off the bat, then that is another option, looking around about £100 these days for most of those kits. Storage-wise, good tried and tested drive here. So this is the Kioxia Exceria, 1TB. Can't go too far wrong with this at all. PCI Express Gen 3 x4, 35 quid. Very nice little drive, works very well. Graphics card is going to be one that a lot of you are going to be interested in, so we have gone with the Asrock Challenger D. At the moment in the market, the RX6600 8GB as a new graphics card is pretty much the best bang per buck you can get, without doubt, and it certainly does trade blows with the RX7600, which is considerably more expensive and weirdly uses more power, even though it is a generational improvement, allegedly. So this, I think, is going to be a fantastic bang for buck. And also, it's an Asrock card. We've got an Asrock motherboard. So in terms of stability and also testing together, you should be absolutely fine there. This one at the moment comes in at a retail price of $183.86. And potentially you can get it cheaper elsewhere. There have been rebates available. But if you're looking around the sort of £180 to £200 mark, this, I feel, is the best bang per buck currently. Now the case is going to be obviously down to the individual, but this at the moment, again, for a micro ATX case, I don't think you can go too far wrong. So this is the Montech R100 Lite. It doesn't come with any fans or anything, but it's just a nice white case, tempered glass side panel, and I think it actually looks pretty decent as well. Nice ventilation on the front. You do get one included fan, I believe, on the back there. There might even be more inside, but Montech's a very weird company. They've got thousands of different SKUs for basically the same cases with very minimal differences. So you may find you get a single fan, you may find you get three. Yeah, it's going to be pretty much luck of the draw, I feel. But overall, nice looking case, and we'll do the build proud. Now, in order to actually power it all, we've gone with a power supply from MSI. Power supplies at the moment at this time of year, especially here in the UK, are extremely expensive. So I wanted to spend around about £50 on this. So this is the MSI Mag A650 bronze. So it's 80 plus bronze certified. You've got plenty of connectors on there. It isn't modular, semi-modular, it is captive, so you're going to be a little bit careful with your wiring. But for £50, it's pretty hard to beat this. There are other options from GameMax, etc. But I think this one is going to be pretty much universally available across the board. Also included the price here for Windows 11 Pro. Cheeky little plug here. So if you're looking for a Windows 10 or Windows 11 license, you can head over to premiumcdkeys.com, use the discount code MIC5 or MUB5, I'll put the links in the video description, and you can bag yourself a Windows license key for under £5. I've put £5 here, but it will cost you considerably less, possibly. I think at the moment it translates to €4.24, because it's done in euros, but yeah, you get the general idea. Nice cheap keys, and they work great. Something else as well which you've added, obviously the Montech Air is a little bit bland just with that single fan. So I've actually included these as well. So this is the new Uphere 120mm PWM addressable RGB LED fan, low noise fan, speed up to 800 RPM, daisy chain capable high performance computer fans for PC cooling 3-pack, otherwise known as the U2C-3. So these are actually a very new fan on the market from Uphere. They have got the new technology where they daisy chain them together, so you don't have a bunch of wires everywhere. You can daisy chain these together and then just have a single power, a separate addressable RGB and a separate PWM feed going to your motherboard and power supply respectively. You can get these in packs of 3 or 6, and I've actually ordered a set of these, so they will be arriving very shortly, so we're going to be testing those out. 25 bucks at the moment from Amazon. Seems like a pretty good price if they're as quiet as I think they're going to be, which their lowest RPM is 600 RPM, it is stated. I'm hoping they will go slightly lower than that, because you do tend to start getting a little bit of fan noise around about sort of 600 to 700 RPM, so if they'll go down as low as maybe 3, 4, even 500, then they're going to be effectively silent. But yeah, we'll be reviewing those shortly, so do stay subscribed for that. But I feel £25, got to be worth it. They do appear to move a lot of air as well, got a reasonably high CFM rating. So again, for £25 for 3 fans is a pretty decent bang per buck, I believe. So there we go, overall total, we're looking at including shipping, etc., £760, give or take a few pence there. Enough money left over to possibly buy yourself a Mars bar. If you don't live in the UK, you may not know what that is. It's basically a bar of chocolate. But essentially, yeah, pretty decent system, and it's actually going to look nice as well. So we've not really cut any real corners here. Potentially, you could say with the M.2 drive, it might have been nicer to go with a PCI Express Gen 4, but realistically, you're not going to notice much difference for the sake of the extra £10 to £15 you're going to pay for one of those. Yeah, overall, I think this is pretty decent. The memory, I potentially would want to spend a little bit more money. Maybe go for a 32 gig set, just so you don't have to worry about compatibility should you want to upgrade later. But if you just want to get on with gaming, most games these days, 16 gigs is going to be enough. Although we are starting to see games actually using a little bit more than that. And with Windows becoming more and more bloated, then actually having more RAM may well be beneficial. So there you go, there are some options if you want to get involved in the AM5 platform. I think actually for just about £760 thereabouts, I think it's actually pretty decent value for money, and will give a AM4 platform with something like the 5800X a decent run for its money. Although if you are on an older platform such as the AM4 with a maybe 3900X, then again, you're not going to see a huge increase in speed, or at least you won't feel it. Although if you benchmark it, it will in theory be a little bit faster, but not a great deal. So we're at that really weird crux or crossroads at the moment in the PC market where we've got a new platform, we've got new processors, but do they really offer us that much more value? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. I'll be very happy to hear what your thoughts are on this. Personally, I think it's overrated, the upgrades, but again, it's always nice to go with the flow and experience new technology if you can. So there you go, let me know what you think about this one in the comments section below. But for now, I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.